There is a storm that rages within us all. Not a storm of wind and rain, but of anxieties, of what-ifs, and of a relentless chase for control. We believe we can command the winds and steer our lives exactly where we want them to go. But what happens when the tide turns? When a rogue wave shatters our perfectly crafted plan? We feel the sting of disappointment, the paralysis of fear, and the ache of things not being as they should. The Stoics had a different approach. They didn't seek to control the storm, but to become an island within it. Their secret was a simple yet profound concept: Amor Fati, the love of fate. It is the radical acceptance, not just of what is, but of loving what is. It is the ultimate exercise for inner peace. The question, of course, is not what it is, but how we practice it. The architecture of anxiety. The turbulence in our minds is built on a single faulty foundation: our attachment to outcomes. We build fantasies of the future, a promotion, a relationship, a new life, and we attach our happiness to them. We feel the allure of desire and the sharp edge of aversion. This desire creates a restless hope, the aversion, a paralyzing fear. Both are born from the same illusion, the belief that the future is ours to command. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus understood this. He said, "If you desire any of the things which are not in your own control, you must necessarily be disappointed." He taught us to distinguish between what is in our control, our thoughts, our actions, our judgments, and what is not. Trying to control the outcome is a futile effort, like trying to catch the wind. What we can control is our position toward the outcome. And so, we begin our training. 1. The practice of deliberate hardship. We often build our lives on a foundation of comfort, only to be terrified when that comfort is threatened. We fear losing our home, our job, our health, but have we ever truly experienced what that feels like? The Stoics advised us to purposefully expose ourselves to what we fear, not to be reckless, but to prove to ourselves that we are stronger than we think. Imagine your fear of poverty. You worry constantly about what would happen if you lost everything. But what if you took just one day to live as if it had already happened? Eat a simple meal, walk instead of drive, forgo all your usual comforts. In doing so, you would find that the catastrophe you imagined is not a catastrophe at all. You would discover that your essential well-being remains untouched. As Seneca wrote, "It is precisely in times of immunity from care that the soul should toughen itself beforehand for occasions of greater stress." We are more resilient than we give ourselves credit for. This practice builds a quiet confidence, the knowledge that whatever comes, you will be okay. 2. The Alchemy of Change. We see change as an ending. We mourn the loss of a job, a relationship, a way of life. But what if change is not an end, but an act of alchemy? What if what you lose is transformed into something new? I have seen this in my own life. A few years ago, a project I had poured my heart and soul into collapsed. At the time, it felt like a complete failure, a dead end. But in the quiet that followed, I found the space to pursue something else, to learn new skills, to explore different ideas. Without that so-called failure, this very video would not exist. Marcus Aurelius put it beautifully, reminding us of the constant flux of the universe. He said, "All that exists is the seed of what will emerge from it." Every loss contains the seed of a new beginning. Every setback, a lesson. Every ended chapter, an opening for a new one. When we see change as a process of growth, we stop fearing it and start embracing its potential. 3. The Unreliable Compass of Happiness. We often assume that our current feelings are a reliable compass for the future. We believe that if we are happy now, we will be unhappy if our circumstances change. This is an illusion. A study in the 1970s revealed that a group of lottery winners, after the initial shock and joy, were no happier a year later than a control group. Conversely, accident victims who had become paralyzed after a period of adjustment reported similar levels of happiness. This shows us that happiness is not a fixed state tied to our external circumstances. It's a relative and adaptive state. We adjust. We find joy in new places. The energy we spend worrying about a negative future is often more painful than the future itself. Your happiness, your inner peace, is not dependent on a specific outcome. It resides within you, an inner citadel that cannot be breached by external events. 4. The eternity of now. All of these exercises lead to one point, the present moment. Our fear of the future and our regrets about the past pull us away from the only place where life can be lived, the now. We resist change because we are trying to preserve a present that is already slipping through our fingers. But there is no future, and there is no past. There is only now. When fate arrives, it does not come in a distant, imagined future. It arrives in the present. This is why Amor Fati is the art of loving the present moment, exactly as it is. The great Stoic Seneca wrote of the philosopher Epicurus, who, despite being tortured by a painful disease, could still say, "Today and one other day have been the happiest of all."